think I'm live. There we go. Okay, just waiting for the system to wind up. If there was a little bit of me looking and not saying anything, there we are. Never know quite when it's going to go live. So, okay, let me go over to Instagram and hit live over there. Bear with me, everybody. Okay, good. There we go. Okay. So I'm wearing my crazy desert hat. Just came in from a morning walk. It's about 9 o'clock here on the West Coast. I live in the desert, so I have these crazy desert hats. And I just thought, oh, I'll just wear my desert hat. Um, you know, sun, you get it. Okay. So here's what I want to chat about. Happy Wednesday, everybody. By the way, I know I haven't done my Wednesday lives, if you will, for a couple weeks. I think I missed 2 weeks. A little bit of surgery. All is well. All is well. Just on the backside of this surgery, and so good to go there. And I'm not going to get into the details, but this is just let's just say aging kind of stuff needed a little attention, and now it's fixed. So there you go. So yeah, when you have those thoughts, you're like, what are my thoughts? So by the way, if you're watching this now or watching it later, always feel free to leave a comment. I get to the comments as best I can throughout my day, different platforms, etc., etc. So here's, self-talk. We know the concept of self-talk. Like how many of you like just own it, right? I go for a walk every morning and every afternoon, to the best of my ability, and I have the earbuds, right? And I have earbuds in, and why do I talking to me? And I want to make sure people don't think I'm just talking into the world like crazy. Yet I talk to myself a lot. We all talk to ourselves a lot. So this is not a new concept, right? So self-talk is what I wanted to talk about today. Like what we tell ourselves matters, right? What we tell ourselves matters, and what we tell ourselves about life matters. What we tell ourselves about the future matters. What we tell ourselves about where the world is matters. Lot of self-talk, right? And then we talk to other people about the self-talk we're having, right? It goes on all the time. This is not new news. I'm singing to the choir. If you follow me, this is about being today's live is about being a little more conscious of what's that self-talk, right? Because I think when we get dare I call it, when we sort of get lazy with my self-talk, it drifts to a place that doesn't really serve most of the time. Okay. So, so this talk, if I were to give this a talk title, is, what are you telling yourself? What are you telling yourself? Right. And I wanted to offer 3 distinctions that really make a difference. They really make a difference for me when I feel off, when I feel not grounded, when I feel sort of anxious, when I feel fill in the blank, overwhelmed, right? All these places that we go in the human condition, right? Because we're amazing creatures of creating what we want, and then we can't create what we want, and then we get very overwhelmed, and then we get confused, and then we bounce around in the pinball machine of the human condition, right? And what we say to ourselves, the words that we use matter. All words have energy, right? Every word you say out loud has a particular resonance. It has a particular impact. Not new news, right? What we say to people matters. What we say to ourselves matters. So I'm just underlining that today. And asking me, I'll just start with me, to be more conscious of the words I use to myself and to my world. What am I saying into the world, and what's the impact it's having? Okay, because it's always having an impact. Talking to myself, talking to other people. They cannot not have impact, because they always do, right? They have a resonance, right? They have a particular energy to them. They have a particular perspective around them. And so they cannot not matter. They always have an impact. By the way, feel free, if you're watching, you can write a comment or comment back, or how it works here. So, but I wanted to offer these 3 self-talk distinctions. So I'm calling them self-talk distinctions, right? Again, I just mentioned it earlier. I've recently had surgery, and had to stop. I'm an avid runner, like runner and sprinter, and pretty much run between 70 and 90 miles a month. Right? If I do 3 miles a day, 30 days, 90 miles is the most I've ever done. Not saying that to impress you. I'm saying that to use it as an example. So I couldn't run, right? The doc after the surgery, like, there's no running for you, right, for a couple of weeks. Past that, I'm allowed to run as of yesterday, according to the doctor. But the why I bring that up is this language that we say to ourselves, and it's the difference between have to and get to. You've probably heard this one already. And um, we say have to a lot. I have to fill in the blank. I have to, follow up on my emails. I have to, and it has a resonance around it of no choice, um, obligation. There's a lot around it. So I'm just asking you to explore it. When you say to yourself, I'll use me. When I say to myself, I have to work out because I want to live a long life, which I do. So, but when I say it this way, just notice what happens when you say, I get to work out, I get to run, rather than I have to run. I get to make dinner, I get to do emails, I get to reach out and grow my business. I get to speak into the world and do a speaking event, which I just did one this morning for 65 people. I get to, right? And I invite you to, for the whole 21-day thing to kind of change a habit, is literally catch yourself when you say I have to, and wait a minute, and just go, wait a minute, I get to. I get to. Now, very different than I want to. There's things you don't want to do. Like, there's things I don't want to take out the garbage cans this afternoon, so that like, I'd rather not. But when you put it into a get to, can you kind of feel the gratitude that I have the body and the capability to take out garbage cans this afternoon is a get to. I get to. And after coming out of surgery, and of course, like it just really it gets very pronounced. Like, I get to take out the garbage. I get to go now cook meals again. I get to sit on my computer and for an hour and do a gig. I like so just play with it. I don't want to over explain it, but have to get to, language shift. Just notice what starts to happen in your life. Okay, that's the first one. Get to versus have to, right? Another big shift. These are perspectives on how to look at life. The other one is we tend to look at, situations as problems, as challenges. I'm inviting you to throw everything that's in that category or a challenge, sorry, let me get that right. Everything that's in the category of a challenge or a problem or something to overcome, I invite you to look it into the territory of or reframe it as an opportunity. I have an opportunity. This is an opportunity for me to learn. This is an opportunity for me to grow. This is an opportunity for me to understand something better. This is like everything's an opportunity. Everything. It's just very simple shift, right? There's no challenges. There's no problems. I want to be very careful how I say that. There are certainly challenges in life, and I want to be respectful of the circumstances that people are going through, myself included. I have circumstances. I have body stuff going on. I have health stuff going on. It's all going to be fine because I know it is. And if I look at it, what's the opportunity from this? Very different. The brain starts to move forward in a direction of creativity, because when you look at your life as an opportunity, everything, things become how do I want to say it? Things become a creative conversation rather than a reactive conversation, right? So, live opportunistically, not just, right? Yeah, thank you for commenting. I connect with my heart when I use the get to instead of my quick analytical brain. There is more knowing and power in my heart space. Beautifully said. Absolutely. Dr. Layla, right? Yeah, I know of you. I think we follow each other on Instagram. Obviously we do. So thank you for that. Yeah, exactly. Can you kind of feel it? And I love what you're bringing up is feel the difference, not just kind of the like logical analytical brain difference. Just feel the difference when you say I get to. It's gratitude. It starts to go, I get to take out the garbage cans. That's like an amazing shift, right? Get to, have to. Number two today is opportunity versus a challenge. There's like just start to, and again, I want to be very respectful. There are certainly real challenges going on in your life, in my friends' lives, in, circumstances are real. There's health stuff, there's aging bodies, there's money situations, there's loss, there's sadness, there's things going on in the world that we don't like. There's people are being, I don't need to go around the list, but right? And if I start to look at all of that as what is the opportunity for me here, even when I look at the world's circumstances, what is the opportunity for me here? The opportunity for me is to um, um, do something about it. Like I step into my own leadership about stuff that's going on in the world that I don't like and I want to make it different. That's like it calls forth the leader in me, possibly. So I'm asking you to look there. So really play with this idea and you lower the bar on the language of problem and challenge and you up the language of everything's an opportunity. Just notice the difference there. Just notice what you feel, okay? The third one is, and this is one of my favorites. I wrote about it, I think, in one of my books that's coming out. I have a new book coming out eventually. I have to get my shit together and getting these books out into the world. I'm sort of like sitting on 3 different books. You know how that happens? It's like, yeah. Anyway, we'll get there. Yeah, opportunity feels open-ended beautifully, Dr. Layla, right? It's true. It's like, right? Um, yeah, I believe. Yeah, thank you. By the way, Chris, you're here. Nice to see you here. I believe we are all after a feeling in this moment, the present moment. Isn't that all that we have? Absolutely. And I know that's your work in the world. It's like be in the now. Just notice, right? And what I'm offering today is the language that I choose to be in the now with, right? Like I'm choosing get to versus have to, right? That pulls me into a different space. That pulls me into a different way of looking at this moment, right? Okay, the third one. I keep getting, you guys are making great comments. Thank you for that. It's having me sort of go over there and read and comment. So thank you for your comments. Oh, let's breathe. Can we just breathe for a second? I was, sidebar moment. I have some amazing nieces, and they are doing remarkable work in the world. And one of them is a doctor, chiropractic doctor, and she has been reminding me of the power of the deep belly breath, the healing. I know I'm going off on a subtle tangent here, but she was the voice as I was coming out of surgery, and she would call me and check in with me, which is just delightful. She reminded me to do big, deep belly breaths, right? Don't worry about the stomach sticking out. You need to get your, she calls it the pelvic floor, right? She's a chiropractor. She understands what's going on inside the body at a whole nother level. They just do. And she's like, you got to breathe deep down. That will actually heal you faster when you breathe deeper. And I was like, you're right. So now I do these breathing things as best I can. Belly breath, not a upper body breath, but a deep breath down into the belly, right? Lower the diaphragm. Anyway, not going to go there, but I just went there. Okay, final one. 3 things that I wanted to offer today on your self-talk. I don't know if we say this out loud, but it is a perspective I notice, and I talk about it a lot. It lives in the Bigger Game book that I wrote. It's a concept that I play with and I help leaders with, and I'm reminding people of this all the time, right? Are we mostly managing? So the difference, by the way, is managing, the 2 words. Am I managing or am I creating? And it's a dance. Imagine it's on a continuum, right? Managing my current life as it is. There are circumstances that I need to manage. I need to manage my bills. I need to manage my, okay, my, my camera is going crazy here. Just lost its, there we go. Okay, lost its ability to focus. Isn't that interesting? All of a sudden on the third one, it goes, yeah, you're out of focus. Am I managing what is, which is needed? I need to manage what exists. So managing is an essence of managing what exists. My business, my bills, my body, my health, my life, my relationships, right? It has a maintenance quality, right? And just fine, by the way, if that's like, I love my life as it is, right? Cool. No judgment of that. Like, right? Um, or am I creating the next level of my life? Now, next level is made up. I have no idea what that is for you, but that's made up, right? Now, I believe the human spirit, the human condition, that higher sense of self is always looking to the next expression of itself. Meaning, what is my next expression, right? What's my next project? What's my next creative thing? What's my next book? What's my next movie? What's my next workshop? What's my next talk? What's my next, right? And that's creating. Um, and I'm not sure everybody needs to, I have no opinion, by the way, that everybody should be in creation mode versus maintenance mode. Both are needed. But I'm inviting you, if you follow me and you kind of track, what I'm about in the world, I'm in the ladder business, the ladder business now, moving up, like literally going up the ladder of your life. Like, what's the next thing to create? What's the next thing to get into the world? What's the next iteration of your creative self? Because it's actually easier. This is what I believe. It's actually easier to focus on maintaining what already exists, right? I have a house, I pay the bills, I clean my garage, clean it. I mean, that's the maintaining what is, right? Which is perfectly lovely, right? And I know, I don't know if this is true for you, see if this is true for you, like maintaining what is starts to become rote and, dare I say, boring. And I mean no disrespect to the success, and I'm in a room and I'm on a computer and I've created this level of success in my life and I go on planes and I speak into the world and I do workshops and I'm writing books and, right? Yet there's this way that, there's a constant hunger. What's the next expression, right? And that's creation. What am I creating next? Now, let me be really like specific. What am I creating next in my marriage with my husband? That's a constant, like, what are we creating next here? Not what are we doing next, maybe, but like, what is next in our marriage? Instead of like, well, we're just maintaining the marriage. What is next with self-care of this body, right? Like, no kidding. And so there's going to be sprinting. Now I'm going to hire somebody to go work out with and lift weights because this next level of life that I want to live at, no matter how old I am, needs attention, needs intention, and needs a creative context to it. Does that make sense? Right? Because what I believe starts to happen as we age, because I have a lot of folks kind of in my age group, I'm going to be 67 in a few weeks, couple months, is that creation part feels harder. Why bother? Like I'm done, or right. And I use my dad as an example. God bless him. He was a creative type. He went off and had a job in the 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and retired in the 80s. Classic, had a job. And I want to be really clear here. So grateful this man provided well for us and his family. And that was his number one reason to sort of be on the planet, was to provide for his family. Yay. However, he told me many times when he got really vulnerable with me in our adult lives together that he had this sort of quiet, secret actor in him that really, like, it had two expressions in his lifetime. He was in two little shows along the way. Um, but he didn't act on it at all. He didn't literally act on it. He didn't go for it. He didn't do community theater. There's so many reasons, but that part of him that wanted to be in creation mode versus maintenance mode um, was very alive for him, but he didn't act on it. And he literally said to me, because I was, in my early career, I was an actor, right? I was 10 years of giving it a good go and did some stuff, and I won't go into the details. It's a rough business, et cetera, et cetera. But he literally championed that part of me. He said, Rick, it's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, but you need to go for it. Like, just go for it. Like, go do your thing, go audition, go, and I got my master's degree in acting. I won't go down a list, but he was a champion of go follow that creative juice that you have or that creative urge that you have and go for it. He wasn't worried about me making a living. He wasn't worried about me becoming broke from it. He didn't actually care about, he cared about that, but he wasn't worried about that. He's like, I maintained a living and you're in a different lane, Rick. Right now you're in the lane of, like, I want to go create this life I want to create based on being in a mode of creation, not just maintenance. So, a lot of words. Let me breathe. The difference between creating and maintaining. Both are needed, right? Maintenance is paying my bills, making sure I make a monthly salary or make a monthly, my monthly nut, right? That's looking at my numbers. I'm not going to go down that path, but right, that's responsible business ownership. That's about doing my thing in the world. That's about asking for the business. That's maintaining my business life, right? And it's challenging. I'll be honest. However, what I find interesting, I don't know if you will, but when I'm in creation mode, I actually attract more clients. I know that sounds weird, but more people come my direction when I'm putting something into the world that's brand new, hasn't been talked about. I do a free class, I'm writing a book, right? I'm in that creation that gets put into the world. I'm using this as an example. Like, I want to put a mug into the world and I create it for the world to experience something. And the right people will respond. Not all the people. I was talking about that with a group this morning. And stop trying to have everybody buy you or experience you. Just do your thing, and the right people will come your direction when you're at full permission with your thing, with your creative juices. So, okay, good enough. Happy Wednesday, everybody. So I'll just do a quick review. Basically, today's talk is about self-talk. What are you telling yourself? Three big distinctions. Are you coming from a perspective of I get to versus I have to? Are you looking at almost everything? No, I don't want to say almost. Are you looking at everything in your life as an opportunity, not as a challenge or a problem? And are you creating your life, or are you managing your life? Managing and maintaining are like cousin words to me. Okay. So those are the three distinctions. Play with them. Catch yourself. What do you ask yourself every morning and at the end of every day? What do I want to create today? Very different than what do I need to do today, right? And then at the end of the day, ask yourself, what did I create today? Right? Very different. The brain will do a completely 180 on the, did I get enough done today? And then you're going to vote at yourself and probably go, no, I didn't get to my to-do list and I didn't do that. And that just spirals into instead of going, what did I create today? And then backing it up to the other 2 points today. What's the opportunity for me in front of me today? What's the opportunity? You could do this at the end of the day, right? Being discerning in the now, beautifully said, right? So at the end of the day, you go, what was the opportunity that I created today? The darker side of that question is, what is the opportunity that I didn't go towards today? Like, there was an opportunity to meet with somebody to talk about a gig or something, but I put it off because who knows? But what's the opportunity that I created today? What's the opportunity that I didn't create today? Okay. And then back to the get to have to is like, okay, what are the things that I got to do today? I'm kind of doing an end of day evaluation. You know, you look back at your day and go, right, with a lot of gratitude and a lot of appreciation. Um, and I'll just leave you with this final thought. Please give yourself a lot of grace. Please, please let us give ourselves a lot of grace with ourselves and with each other, right? So there's a forgiveness context to that, but I'm loving this word grace. It's being used a lot around me and I'm borrowing it. Like, please give yourself and give others around you space and grace, right? Instead of being reactive and all that other stuff we're doing, space and grace. Okay, so happy Wednesday, everybody. Those are my thoughts on this Wednesday. I generally try to do these at about 8:30 California time. I had a call this morning to do a training for a group that needed to do this morning, so a little bit later today. So everybody take a big deep breath. If you're watching this now live, if you're watching this live later, I invite you to take a big deep breath. And just for fun, just put your hand over your heart. And breathe into your heart for a second and just have a moment of like, I know it's going to sound sort of crazy, but just, play with me. Just kind of go, I give myself a lot of grace. I'm doing some amazing stuff. Please notice the good work you are doing more than the things that are not happening at the pace and the speed that you want. There's always that gap. But please acknowledge the great work, the lives that you're touching, the difference you're making, the words that you're putting into the world, the conversations you're having with yourself and your neighbors and your friends and your clients. Please know that they matter and it makes a difference. Okay, so, all right, everybody, me and my crazy hat are going to sign off. Happy Wednesday. More to come. If you're not on my email list, ricktamlin.com. I do a Sunday newsletter thing. I'm not doing a big promotion here for anything right now. But I do classes along the way. I do a free class generally every month. So if you're on my email list, you'll get an email about that. They're free. I kind of do free things in the leadership development space, or the personal growth space, which is really fun for me. So ricktamlin.com if you're not on my email list. And, there's a way to get on a list. You get a freebie and you'll be on my email list. So ricktamlin.com. So bye, everybody. More to come. I'm going to push some stop buttons here. So hang on here.